Standard 5th, Subject EVS 2, Chapter 4, Evolution. Dear students, in the previous chapter you learned about life on Earth. Now in this chapter you will learn about evolution. In this, the first point is the concept of evolution. Second, the stages of evolution of animals. And third, apes. So let's begin with the first one, that is the concept of evolution. Now the word evolution is generally understood to mean gradual and continuous change. So in this picture you can see changes in the life of human beings from apes to a proper human being. Evolution in the plant and animal world can be explained in the following manner. In the process of survival, by adapting to environmental changes, certain internal physical changes occur in some animals of a species. So, you must have seen dinosaurs movies, yeah? In that, you must have seen how they were different from one another, different species. So, animals which are similar to each other, like example, dinosaurs itself, they are categorized as one type of animal, but there are different types in them. So, over a period of time, these internal changes become inherited characteristics seen in all following generations. Inheritance means they are adapted from generation to generation, okay, biologically. Thus, a new species with characteristics different from the original may be created. Such a species is usually more evolved than the original one. More evolved means, now you can understand from the picture that towards the left it's seen that man was more like in a ape form here. Then slowly changes took place and he started gradually developing himself. And today we see man with a briefcase walking in a suit. That means so much evolution has taken place. Sometimes more than one species evolved from the original one. I mentioned to you like that in the case of dinosaurs. More than one species have evolved. The first scientist to give up a systematic explanation of the concept of evolution was Charles Darwin. So you can see his picture here. Species which are capable of adapting to environmental changes are able to survive. The ones that cannot do so become extinct in the process of evolution. Extinct means slowly they are not to be seen anymore, like what happened to the dinosaurs. In ancient times, there were many species of a type of animal called dinosaur. Dinos in Greek means terrible and sauros means lizard or reptile. Dinosaur means a terrible lizard. So, lizard is something small in our mind, but dinosaur is very huge. So, some of these dinosaurs were enormous in size. It appears that these species of enormous dinosaurs suddenly became extinct, means they vanished completely. Enormous means huge. Some sudden natural disaster or environmental change is believed to be responsible for their extinction. Means sudden changes in the environment could be the reason for them becoming extinct, disappearing completely. Fossils of dinosaurs with wings have been discovered. Now, what are fossils? The remains or impression of a prehistoric plant or animal embedded in rock and are preserved are called fossils. So, such fossils of dinosaurs with wings have been discovered. It is believed that some species of two-legged and winged dinosaurs evolved into birds. So you can see here a reconstructed picture of dinosaur with wings. Now let's learn about the second part, the stages of evolution of animals. We have learned in the previous lesson that life on earth began with unicellular organisms known as protozoa. You have learned it in the previous chapter, right? That they are so tiny that we cannot see them with a naked eye. We can only see them with a microscope. So, these unicellular microorganisms gave rise to multicellular living things. Now, what is difference between unicellular and multicellular? Unicellular organisms are those having only one cell, whereas multicellular are those organisms having many cells in their body. Like us, we have many cells in our body, so we are multicellular living beings. So, the following are the stages of evolution of animals. Let's learn the evolution of animals. First one, the invertebrates. Animals without a backbone are called invertebrates. For example, a snail. There are many such examples of invertebrates, that is animals without a backbone or without a skeleton, like an earthworm. You must have seen an earthworm. A starfish, it does not have a skeleton inside its body. A snail, then a fly, okay, honeybee or fly, or even a crab. They do not have a skeleton inside their body, and that means they do not have a backbone. So they are called invertebrates. And the second type in the stages of evolution of animals is vertebrates. Vertebrates are animals which have a backbone. Okay, look at the one given here, aquatic animals, example fish. So vertebrates are many. Here you're going to study about 5 different types of vertebrates. In the categories of aquatic animals, we have fish. Then we have amphibians. Amphibians, animals which live in water and also on land. For example, a frog, a snake. Okay, they can live in water as well as in land. But snake we do not count here because snake is a reptile. So the example for an amphibian is frog. So which vertebrates we learned? Aquatic animals, example fish. And second, amphibians, that is a frog. Third, birds. Birds are also categorized as vertebrates. They have a backbone. Okay. Fourth vertebrates are reptiles. As I mentioned to you, snake. Animals which crawl, for example, a snake. Okay. And the fifth vertebrate we are learning is mammals. Example, a cow. Okay. So these are 5 types of vertebrates that you have learned in this chapter, which are aquatic animals, amphibians, birds, reptiles and mammals. Now let's learn more about mammals. Mammals are the most evolved animals among vertebrates. The following are the characteristics of most of the mammals. First, growth of the baby in the mother's womb for some time before birth. So most of the animals carry their baby inside the mother's womb. Okay, even we human beings are born from a mother's womb. So we come under the category of mammals. This is the first important characteristics of mammals. What is it? That the growth of the baby is in the mother's womb for some time before the birth. And what is the second characteristics? It is the baby is fed on the mother's milk for some time after birth. Okay, so including humans, there are many other animals where the small baby grows after feeding on the mother's milk in its first few months after it is born. The platypus and some species of anteater are exceptions to this. Means they are considered mammals because even though they lay eggs, now platypus and anteater lays eggs, but they are considered mammals though they do not give birth to the young ones. Why? Because they suckle their young ones. Means the young ones feed on the mother's milk. They suckle them. Okay. So that's all about mammals. Now the last part of the lesson is apes. So let's learn more about apes. Apes are somewhat like humans in appearance. They mostly live on trees. As you see in this picture, apes mostly lived on trees. Okay. Those species of apes which continued to live on trees, retained their original ape-like form. So those which did not live on ground but they continued on trees only their whole life, they continued as apes. However, in grasslands, some ape species were forced to move around on the ground. As you see in this picture, in these grasslands, why they were forced? Who forced them? Maybe in the search of food or shelter or some other purpose. They moved on to the grasslands. So this is evolution, changes. Okay. This happened first on the African continent. The first human species is called the primitive man. Primitive means the first. Okay, so which continent? You'll remember this. On the continent of Africa, the first primitive man evolved. In the next lesson, we shall learn more about the evolution of human species, how man became today what he is, from the ape stage to the evolution of human species. So, hope students you have understood this chapter. Now, regarding this evolution, you should also have some important information. Do you know this? In the year 1859, Charles Darwin proposed his theory of evolution in his book On the Origin of Species. Before Darwin, the scientist Carl Linnaeus had introduced his method of classifying animals. He had expressed the opinion that going by the structure of the body, the human species and some ape species appeared to be related. In his first book, Darwin had not expressed any definite opinion about this relationship. In 1871, he published his second book, The Descent of Man. In this book, he drew attention to the fact that even though humans do not have tails, the last bone of their spine is a vestige of a tail. He also noted that some other non-functional or unnecessary structures in the human body, such as the wisdom teeth, are indicators of the process of evolution. He accepted the inference that humans had evolved from tailless apes like the gorilla and the chimpanzee that lived in the jungles of Africa. However, no evidence has been found till then in support of his theory. Evidence means proof. The necessary evidence became available only in the 20th century. So this is all how Charles Darwin started his theory, which was proved later on. So hope students you have understood this chapter on evolution. Do read the lesson from the textbook for a better understanding. Stay safe, keep learning, and thank you.